What's going on? Jun with the Sushi Man here, and in this video, I'm going to teach you the most simple and probably the easiest to make tofu dish out there, and that is Hiyayakko, also known as Japanese cold tofu. It's a refreshing side dish that's popular during the hot summer months, but it can also be enjoyed all year round. Trust me, I make it all the time even in the winter because it's a great complement to so many other Japanese dishes. And it's always been a staple at izakayas because of that. Alright, without further ado, let's jump right in. So first, let's go over what Hiyayakko is. Hiyayakko is tofu that's been chilled and then served with various toppings such as green onion, ginger, or KATSUOBUSHI, which are dried bonito flakes. And if you've never heard of the term Hiyayakko, well, you're probably not the only one, because most restaurants will just call it something like cold tofu or cold tofu salad, at least here in the States. But it is actually the correct translation. Hiya means cold or chilled, and yakko is the old term for tofu that was used way back in the Edo period. Pretty cool how that's still used to this day, huh? Anyways, let's move on to our ingredients. So there are countless and various different toppings you can put on Hiyayakko, but what I'm showing you today is the most traditional and standard style that you typically see at restaurants, and still my personal favorite. So first we have some tofu. This is a 19-ounce pack of soft tofu, but we'll only be using about a quarter of it. Now you can use either soft or silken, but I recommend using soft because sometimes, depending on the brand of tofu you get, the silken one is very difficult to take out of the packaging, and it ends up all torn apart. Now, if you prefer the texture of medium or firm tofu, then that's fine to use, but I highly recommend using the softer styles because it gives it that light and velvety texture that Hiyayakko is known for. Alright, next we have 1 green onion, and then about an inch of fresh ginger, which we'll be grating, and this has already been peeled and washed. Some KATSUOBUSHI, which are dried bonito flakes. This is about 1 tablespoon. And then some soy sauce to drizzle on top at the very end. And you can use ponzu as well. They're both really good and you can't go wrong with either. And that's it. Now let's start making our hiyayakko. First, we're going to open our tofu package and rinse it under cold water. Okay, from here we're going to cut this into 4 equal quadrants. Now, traditionally we cut this in our hand, but if that sounds like a trip to the ER for you, then just use the cutting board. So we just cut this right down the middle this way. And then again right down the middle this way. And now we have our 4 equal blocks. Now I'm only going to use one of these for the video, but you can obviously make more if you like. Just make sure whatever you're not using to save it in a fridge in an airtight container with enough water where the tofu is fully submerged. Alright, so now we're going to wrap this in a paper towel so that it can absorb the excess water. And we don't need to do this for too long, only a few minutes or so. And I like to put it on a plate and leave it in the fridge while we get our toppings ready. That way the tofu stays chilled. Okay, so now let's cut our green onion. And I've already cut the end and cleaned this. So I'm going to cut this in half first so that's faster. And basically we'll just start slicing it from one end all the way to the other, as thin as you can. Now I like to leave the white part in there, but you can of course leave it out if you prefer. Alright, next let's grate our ginger. And that is pretty much it. Pretty easy, huh? Now all we need to do is combine these ingredients together and then plate it. Alright, so first we're going to put our tofu on our plate. And then we'll add some green onion. And then ginger. And then top it off with some KATSUOBUSHI. And I like to break this into smaller pieces a little bit so that it spreads out more evenly across the tofu. And there you go. Now you just pour the soy sauce or ponzu on there right before you eat it. Alright, good job guys. What did that take us, like 5 minutes? And really, that is how simple this is. And again, this is the most traditional way to make hiyayakko, but there are so many different toppings you can put on there. Some of my other favorites are like umeboshi, mentaiko, kimchi, grated daikon, wasabi. I mean, I could keep going on and on. Actually, you know what? Let me know in the comments if that's something you guys want me to cover. I can make a video on these different types of hiyayakko toppings if you guys are interested. Now, since this is part of my Izakaya series videos, my recommended pairing would be, well, you can't go wrong with a glass of ice cold Japanese beer, but also because it's a lighter dish, try it with some cold Japanese sake, preferably a junmai ginjo or daiginjo. And if you're enjoying my content and want to learn more about Japanese cooking, especially if you're a sushi fan, then don't forget to check out my book, How to Make Sushi at Home, a fundamental guide for beginners and beyond. It's packed with step-by-step tutorials and recipes that will help you become a sushi expert both at home and professionally. So whether you're a sushi chef in training or want to learn how to make sushi for your friends and family at home, this book will get you there. Check out the links below if you're interested. Alright, now you know how to make this simple and delicious hiyayakko. So crack open that beer, and while you're at it, check out my other izakaya style recipes with the videos over here. Thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments if there are other izakaya style dishes that you want me to cover. And of course, leave any questions or comments as well. I'll see you on the next one. ありがとうございます。